Garry has spoken up. He says that he accepted a fight with Venom Page. By the way, do you guys ever try this? You know what this is? It's a new Jocko drink, but it's called Blue Raspberry. Is that real? Is there such a thing? My uncle was a farmer. We did not have this. He had all sorts of berries. He had huckleberries and Marion berries. We had wild berries. We had strawberries. We even had raspberries, but I never had a blueberry. And it's not as though Jocko's the first to come up with this. Like, there's things you can go with. There's ice cream flavor that are blue raspberry. There's yogurts that are flavored blue. I'm asking a serious question. Is there such a thing? Can you get a blue raspberry somewhere? I feel like, as a world traveler, not to mention the nephew of a farm. My uncle still got the farm. He's still got all these berries I'm telling you about. Doesn't have any blue ones that are called raspberries. Answer that question for me, would you? Now,
does it taste good?
Yeah, it tastes very good. But all blue raspberry, like the ice cream and the yogurt, is also very good. Like, there's something to a blue raspberry. But if they don't actually come in blue, then how would it be blue? That's the part that's weird. Like, sandwiches don't come in blue. And if I had one and it was a sandwich and it was blue, I'm probably not going to eat it. All right. The topic today is Ian Garry claiming he accepted Michael Venom Page. Now, I don't say claiming as though I'm calling Ian Garry out. I am saying it because there is a vernacular within this industry that has been greatly corrupted over time. So, Ian Garry's statement, I have accepted Michael Venom Page. And he's talking about June 29th, International Fight Weekend, what would possibly be a co-main event, and the return of Michael Chandler, also known as the return of Conor McGregor. But if you're going to say I've accepted, you had to be offered him. And I'm only saying this because there's a lot of guys out there, they're banging their chest and they're trying to get bravado for accepting certain fights. I appreciate that. I think you should get credit. But we can't just start throwing this term out because your coach asked you a question, because your manager sent you a text message. Hey, would you fight? And you text the manager back, and then you go to the meeting, I accepted MVP. It's like, well, you didn't accept him, but you also didn't turn him down if you were never offered him. And we just have to clear that up in our industry, because there's a number of words that are getting away from us. There's a number of words and terms, and a number one contender and a top-ranked guy, and a champion, or what is the interim champion? Like, there's a lot of words that are being corrupted. And if Ian Garry says that he accepted MVP, that means that MVP was offered to him. If MVP was offered to Ian Garry, that would lead us to believe, without specific proof, it would lead us to believe that MVP, who was cited as having the most boring fight of UFC 299, I don't agree. I do not agree at all. I thought Kevin Holland versus MVP was awesome, but it's still cited. And it is still stated that you're going to go from what they're calling the most boring fight to a co-main event of the Michael Chandler, Conor McGregor card. That is an amazing leap for me to make. Not to mention, you got Ian Garry that's got a great big shelf life, and you got MVP who's as scary as the day is long, but he's long in the tooth age-wise. You are not sure, put it to you this way, I'll just talk to you real quick. You're not positive Ian Garry's going to beat him. So now you're taking a feature spot and you're giving it potentially to a guy who's going to get over on potentially your future of the next 10 years. The next decade, if things go well for Ian Garry, the next decade, Ian Garry is still open and optimistic to the chance of becoming the face of the company. Major compliment, right? You got Conor McGregor in there right now taking it, but Conor's not making that walk. Skill-wise, you give it to Jon Jones, but he's been out there one time in the last 4 years. Popularity-wise, that looks like that's being gobbled up by Sugar Sean, but Max Holloway has currently re-emerged and asserted himself. Like, it's one of these very coveted positions. And if you, I like the fight. I think that's a close fight. I think that's a very interesting match. Ian Garry, as great as he is, has exclusively displayed that greatness in stand-up. And the thought of having to stand with, and then the belief that you could get over on MVP. And MVP's first fight is going to be his worst fight, and that happens to be his last fight. Everybody's debut in the octagon is their worst. Again, there's no way to know that, and that's a broad stroke, but please understand my point. So if MVP on a bad day can still get over on Holland, then you're telling me that you believe that Garry could beat Holland. Okay, fine. If those were to be booked, Garry would be the favorite. But now it's not, I apologize, but now you're starting to see but this is an even better, this is an even bigger step up, right? So Garry, to turn down MVP, had to have been offered MVP. And I don't believe that happened. I don't believe he got offered MVP for the reasons that I just stated. Right or wrong, and for better or worse, MVP's last fight was not revered by the critics. MVP is a top guy, and he is that's the biggest pain in the ass you've got in the division. You would be better off to fight Leon than you would to fight MVP. You're not going to beat either one of them, but only one of them's going to change your life. You're not getting your hand raised against either, but Leon's not against taking you down, passing, and tapping you out. MVP is going to bludgeon you, and all of you. Not one shot. No. He's going to break your feet, and then he's going to work his way up from there. He's going to hurt your shins, he's going to hurt your knees, he's going to bust up your thigh, he's going to split up your ribs, come to your chest before he gets his way up to your jaw and orbital. That's just the way he fights. It's a wildly difficult person to get an opponent for. So Ian Garry versus MVP. Wow, I would really love that. And Ian Garry says that it's been offered, but that he's not sure that MVP will accept, because MVP would have to get his weight down in only 7 weeks. Now, I mean, I got to tell you, that isn't MVP making an excuse. That was Garry making a suggestion. But 7 weeks to get your weight down. Kayla Harrison hasn't weighed less than 145 pounds since she was 17 years old. In 9 weeks, she got down to 135. So I'm not signing off on the excuse, but at the same time, MVP did it offer it. It was just Ian Garry speaking to say, hey, it's not a lot of time for him. I would understand if he didn't do it. But I got to go a step further. But before we get to that, and before we decide that Garry is fighting on the 29th of June and is potentially fighting MVP, we have to make sure we trace back this statement to its origin. And before you can accept a fight or you can deny a fight, you have to first be offered the fight, and not by your coach and not by your manager, by the company. I wasn't there. I'm looking for information. I admit that. But I will tell you that right now, I don't believe that happened.